We're back. This is Renovate and Build with Jim and Sandra, powered by Fair Trade Works.
That's the House Martins and Build. Good morning and welcome to Renovate and Build, a show about everything construction. My name is Sandra Lummis, and I'm joined by my co-host, boss, and the founder of Fair Trade Works, Jim Perkins.
Good morning, Sandra, and good morning to you listening. Great to be here great to have you along here for this hour.
And it's great to have our next guest join us this morning. James Faulkner is the founder and president of SiteMax System. That's a company providing web-based software problem-solving solutions to construction companies. Good morning, James.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for coming on Renovate and Build.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, James, let's start at the beginning. How did you get started in this construction app project?
Well, like any good thing that happens in life, you don't plan on it.
That's true.
About 3 years ago, I was involved with a company called Wales McClellan Construction. They're a large commercial builder in the Lower Mainland, and they had contracted me to help them with their brand and their web systems, et cetera. And the first thing we built for them was a plan room for trades to come in and look at drawings so they could submit their pricing. And so we built a very simple web system. Log in. Multiple people can be invited for different projects, et cetera, to see what those drawings were. And then later on, luckily, I somehow formed a really great relationship with the owner, who has been instrumental just because of his ability to see my vision and not be sort of scared of it, and support me all along the way. And now we're here now. So, but the next iteration of what we were doing was something very simple, was to have a platform for their site guys to be able to put in their progress report and upload their photos and track the weather. So that's really sort of the genesis of the SiteMax system. And then what really started getting the company, Wales McClellan at the time, a lot of press was I had this crazy idea. I said to Doug, the owner, I said, we're taking in a lot of interesting information here. And taking in all these photos that are day-based, all this progress. We should display this on big TVs around this office.
Wow.
And he said, I love it. Let's do it. So I thought, wow, okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And then we ended up giving that same feed to their clients. And so what this really did was it opened up this entire dialogue of transparency and accountability through the visibility of all the progress. And there was a lot of press I got from that. So that's really how it started. And then a year ago, it's my birthday tomorrow, October 2nd, and SiteMax Systems was incorporated a year ago on my birthday. So I didn't plan it that way. The lawyers, funnily enough, so that was the date it was incorporated. So there you go. So that's how I got started.
So break it down for us, James, what this app does. I mean, besides basically providing eyes onto every construction site from wherever you wish, what else does it do for the industry professionals as well as the clients?
Well, first of all, it is a more than just an app, which is great. It's a web-based portal to see all your projects, and it's also an iPad application. And the thing I was telling you about the TV, we have an Android HDMI little device that plugs into the side of the TV and gets onto the Wi-Fi in whatever office it's plugged in at, and provides all of the photos and the progress on those TVs. So it's really three main components, and then we're adding iPhone next as well. So what it really does is it does so many things, but I'll sort of keep it as brief as I can. So it's designed to get rid of that black hole between the project managers who are sitting behind desks and the site individuals who are responsible for a job site, that are sort of floating around the site trailers and sort of crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's with all the people coming in and out of the field. So they have to do a whole bunch of things. They have to fill out time cards for everybody. So they have to track everybody's time. So we have a digital time card module in the iPad. So all that they're doing is using this little iPad mini on the job site. It's got a tough case on it. It's a great camera. It fits in the VisiVest perfectly. So it has the digital time cards, customized daily report log that's searchable and itemized. It tracks the weather 24 hours a day, logging it in the database with beautiful little icons. You can look into the day and you can see all of the weather that's happened in that 24 hours. It has digital purchase orders that replaces those clunky old books that, multi-copy books that you see sort of on the floor in the corner, dusty, and the site trailers. We have the progress photos with descriptions that feeds all of that data. It has a two-way task list, safety checklists. We are just implementing a QR code tool tracking system. So it tracks all of the tools. I mean, a lot of these companies have $750,000 of tools out there.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't know where they are, and they don't know what condition they're in, and they're very hard to track. So we're implementing that. So the camera iPad utility basically just snaps the QR code and gives the profile of the tool. They can report on it. And we also have just implemented something called XDrop. One big problem with systems like this is getting files in and out of it. So we've created something called XDrop. You're probably familiar with Dropbox.
Yes.
It's worth a lot of money, but we've created a XDrop, which is a project-specific file repository for all of the safety manuals, for all of the forms, and it has a convention file tree. And even project managers and via the iPad, they can create folders, they can upload documents all in there, and it gets all of the changes that happen get stuck to the day report. So if Kevin on a job site has uploaded a new piece of paperwork that's come in from a subtrade, it goes in there right away, and the project managers get alerted immediately, and it shows in the day that was uploaded at that time. And lastly, we are just launching a collaborative deficiency module called Rectify. Deficiencies is a lot of money, as you both know, caught up in deficiencies. And the issue is that everybody's working off a different list, from architects to engineers to project managers, superintendents, the mess. Even clients put their own list in. So we have a standalone brand, Rectify, and we're actually offering this service free to the public. So if you have a rental home, for instance, and your tenant leaves and leaves scratches in the floor, holes in the wall, you can use Rectify to capture those deficiencies and then invite perhaps a fix-it service to come and fix those for you. So every time that a deficiency is created, there's an assignment to somebody to fix that, and that's sort of our goal there is to have as many people find out about Sitemax and Rectify.
Wow, vast solutions.
Yeah, it's never ending, James. I understand, obviously being in the construction industry, that it's just you got to fix one problem and then on to the next. It's kind of an endless evolution. Once you kind of get the vision and understanding, you can use your kind of skill set to really start to streamline these solutions, and it's almost a lifetime project, right?
It is. Yeah, it's what's amazing is I've had 2 client presentations today, and we're getting inbound now, which is great. We had 4 just from LinkedIn today. Can we have a presentation? And what I find is that every time we meet someone, our customers tell us what they want us to build next.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And you know what? I have to say, coming from, I used to be in the brand world, in the advertising world years ago. I had a brand agency, and the difference of the people. The advertising world is very vain, if you will, in terms of the people involved. It's a creative business, so everyone has to be very guarded about what their work is about. In the construction business, I am so impressed with how down to earth everybody is, and how positive people are about moving the industry forward. I think Canada is sort of lagging behind a little bit compared to the U.S. So.
Absolutely. James, what's the kind of, what's the one biggest challenge in kind of developing this system? What's the kind of the biggest hurdle or the biggest kind of brain drain that you've kind of had to try and move forward with all this?
I think time is the biggest one for us. I mean, it's just, 2 weeks will go by and, we're developing new features all the time, and it just always seems that time is the enemy. I mean, that's the case with many, many businesses, obviously. But so that's the one thing. And secondly, it's, designing for mobile and for web these days, the caliber of execution you have to have of user experience is so high.
Yeah.
Because, it's interesting that the enterprise world, the commercial enterprise world anyway, is being used by general consumers who are so used to using their iPhones and their iPads with companies like Apple and Google and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. They have so much money to spend on development and user experience that it becomes standard. So our little Sitemax company now has to compete in terms of the way things feel at par with those companies. And our users say, well, doesn't it just do that? It's like, yeah, I'll tell you, doesn't it just do that? It has many zeros attached to it.
Yeah, and even in the construction industry, I know, because I've implemented these kind of things in my company and my platform, that it's just getting people to early adopt and stick with it and learn it, and just, like you said, don't expect it to operate like an Apple, like an iPhone or something, and all these super slick kind of, stuff that's spent millions and millions of dollars on developing, right? So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Especially in an industry like construction, where you're just trying to get the early adopters, you're trying to get them to adopt this system. It's not as slick as something that they see at home and watch on their own TV. So it's, I feel your pain.
Yeah, you're right on there. I mean, but I think it's as a team, as a development team, we have a lot of pride, and we love Apple, even as bendable as it is. We love the way things feel. We all have a design background, and it's, for instance, when you upload photos through our iPad application, it's quicker than iCloud.
Yeah, it's cool.
And that's because, we wouldn't have it any other way. So it's not the fact that we can't achieve that same level, it's staying at it.
Right, hard work.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It is fun. James, how do you see this changing the construction industry as a whole? I mean, you're part of a big movement right now.
Yeah, I think there's sort of a number of things I think that would really I see changing. I think that most companies are now challenging their antiquated processes. They're realizing that we're using a lot of paper, we're driving all over the place, picking stuff up, and realizing that they can save a lot of money in just cleaning up these intangibles by using these systems. And I think that's one real big change that's going to happen is this sort of the realization of that. And I think it takes a company like ours to come in and do a presentation, and they shake their heads and think, oh, what are we even doing for, So that's the one. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying it's also, our job and the new generation coming through into industries such as construction with a certain, the way of living your life with certain devices and stuff. So then you take that into an industry that is a little bit backward, especially in the Canadian markets, and it doesn't quite jive right. So, like people like yourself and maybe myself are there just trying to get things up to speed. We with the best tools that we have or capital that we have, trying to make those positive changes and trying to, get things at least moving in the right direction. And over time, I believe that it will start to really gain momentum.
And you hit on something there in terms of the different generations who are involved on a job site. We have it's really I think this technology is putting a lot of pressure on the most experienced generations on a job site. They're the ones that know everything.
Yeah,
they've been doing it for 30, 40 years, and now they're in a place where they have to embrace and adapt and be open to that change, or they're running into company resistance because they sort of there's usually about I would say 20% of that older generation sort of have a little bit of an issue with things, The rest are, I mean, my parents, for instance, in their 70s, I can't get them off their iPad. Like, it is, when I go to their house, they're sticking their iPad on top of each other trying to show me something. I mean, and they never were into laptops or anything before that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just about getting them into it, and then they can't stop, right? It's just like, oh, no, we got that technology stuff. We don't want to touch that. But once they start fiddling, they're addicted, right? So it's always interesting to watch that.
Yeah, so that's one thing I think that will change the industry as a whole. And I think lastly, it's the transparency and accountability piece is really legitimizing the construction process. I mean, luckily in Vancouver, where we're based, there's most companies are very reputable, especially in the commercial space. They can't afford to make a wrong step. But there are many construction situations where the client doesn't know where they're at. They might feel like there's a bit of mistrust. This legitimizes that construction process in the minds of the client and allows them to feel comfortable. So the whole professionalism part, I think clients are starting to demand now.
Yeah, because of that mistrust, everything has to be transparent and documented, like you said. My last question was what's next for you, but I think you've already kind of answered that. Like you said, it's just having enough time to kind of, collect these new ideas from all these new companies. They have their wants and needs, and I feel your pain because we all have our wants and needs and kind of have it in our head, but then getting it into your head and then turning it into a platform and developing it and testing it and then training. It's just, like I said, it's a long process to kind of get this thing up to, and also once you produce an app or a product like this, that to get it really into full swing and adopted across the marketplace is another few years ahead of its time. So it's going to be interesting to kind of watch it all happen.
Well, we definitely want to make the system as feature packed as possible and as affordable as possible. I want to lower the price because I want to keep. We're competitive now, and even more affordable than other systems out there comparable. But I still want to get it less because there are so many mid-range companies that would love to do that. They just can't fit that in their budget. It's just too much. And I'm talking smaller operations. People doing 2 or 3 home renovations. I want to get this in the hands of many people. So in order to do that, we've had many third parties contact us and saying, could we integrate with you? And, we've got some neat features. And, our plan over the next while is to collaborate with those individuals and, have a very robust ecosystem of people and being able to, have the talents from people all over the world being able to make things for SiteMax.
Well, thank you very much, James. This is going to be exciting, and we'll be following your company.
Thank you very much. It's really great. I always have to do these interviews where somebody writes something afterwards, and it's nice actually. I know everything I said is going to go in, and I got to dialogue with you, and that's and thank you for your industry conscious questions. I appreciate it.
We've been speaking with James Faulkner, founder and president of SiteMax Systems. You can learn more about this construction platform at sitemaxsystems.com. That's sitemaxsystems.com.
And we should also point out that you can visit our Facebook page after the show and see all these links to our guests there. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/renovate and build. That's facebook.com/renovate and build.
Coming up right after the break, we're gearing up for another round of product face-off. This week, Gary and Meg will be talking home intercom solutions.
There's still lots more ahead. This is Renovate and Build, powered by Fair Trade Works with Jim and Sandra.